the topics of management and leadership. It's probably the most diverse task and results which it produces. It's sometimes underrated as a strategic, routine, forward task, pretty much written down, but actually it's very live. But both management and leadership is a very live thing, really. It does address us in every way, visually, mentally. I think it's something which has to be rated much higher than it is actually, how it does affect people. I think it sometimes is undermined, and it has results in sales, results in business, in growth. So it's something very, very important. Traditionally, management incorporates a structure. There are the users, there is the staff, there are team leaders, there are managers, there are VIPs, and it goes on and on. Most of them relate to management. That's the typical structure. There are occasions where some managers use different tactics, mostly to produce and increase sales, increase growth. It is profit orientated, but also it has to fit the figures. To fit the figures, management is really there. In the end, business owners want to see a profit. So they do tailor their strategies, their workers, their employees and staff, to work mostly on the figures. We have a lot of software, we have a lot of things to do that. And also, juniors will be integrated in these strategies. So management is there. It has got varieties. It is now really regarded as to be emotional intelligence. There will be more incorporated into management, which pleases the staff. So the future is actually positive in management, much more positive than it was the last 20 years, where everybody quietly worked as much as possible within a short time. I think the future will be tailored to people with disabilities, tailored to people with a different workload, who cannot work on the same workload. I think it will be more tailored to the staff, and it will be actually a much more better growth for the company. So there are institutions who work on that, who are also contracted to have a look at it if there are problems. So I think the management will look much better in the future than it was the last 20, 30 years. The Adams approach really isn't the future anymore. So that goes back long time. With leadership hasn't changed really greatly. Leadership has been really guidance, mentoring, taking responsibility, promoting, also really incorporating almost everyone. leadership does value everyone. Good leadership doesn't prescribe a recipe or medication. Leadership lets you grow as you are. The path you take, the approach you take, real leadership is looking at you as something to grow and develop. Practically none of your attributes will be denied, will be pushed away, will be looked as unnecessary. None. Exactly the way you come is the way you're gonna grow. And that's very much like nature. Leadership can do that. Leadership can grow from a variety of different sources, incorporating simplicity for some, incorporating complexity as you need it. It is really there to grow whichever way it comes. But also, leadership is responsible for the outcome. And that's very often not 100 people in an organization, that's sometimes just a few who are responsible for that. So also in leadership, the importance is there that there is growth, and that means for everybody. That means promotions, that means incomes, that means profits, that means the company, stability, strategy, everything. So leadership really has to look into everything. Also, if there are problems, there is no sales, there's no work, there is very little coming, leadership will look into it. So there is the knowledge there. There's an enormous knowledge there in leadership for some people and not many people. So it doesn't go from post to this post, and that one looks into, and then that comes back. As it is big organizations, it is sometimes much quicker. So the results are coming back sometimes very quickly. And you actually know yourself there is a problem. So it isn't that someone addresses you and says, hey, come on, this is no good. You actually very soon find out, hey, you have to do something else, or you have to improve something, or a little bit more. So in leadership, I think leadership can address things faster. It can address personal issues very often in a very quick method, very quick way. Also, the intellect can grow. So a person's intellect can actually grow in an enormous way, in many directions, which in management, it is tailored to something. Your capacity, your memory is really tailored to certain software, to certain outcomes. It is more like boxes, really. But in leadership, you can grow in many ways. So very often leadership is connected to artists, to creators. They apply that because it suits them more. They have more freedom. They can also decide on many things themselves. So they can decide to increase, they can decide to decrease if they want to work less or they want to take off anytime. So leadership is very often something which goes into arts, which goes into self-employment. It's these people who really grow in leadership and eventually take up big positions. So they're very much in demand. It's something underrated, very often leadership, but if you are in leadership, you will see that you're learning, you can take on courses for that. You can take on, your organization is growing. You alone have a very big organization. And in leadership, you're not really leaving to go yachting, to go flying everywhere. You are still staying with the organization if you're a good leader. You don't let the organization ever down. You grow and grow and grow. It is the mentality of infinite solutions, infinite growth. This is really what leadership has been doing the last 20 years. People believed in their income, which is only growing. It never stops. One thing it is, yes, you have to stay with it. The moment you leave it, the moment it's gone. So that's an important point. If you believe that you can have an income which is only growing, as long as you live, and what even after legacy, it is through leadership. Management has growth, but they stipulate the profit for the dividends for the organizations. They stipulate what they really want to take out and what they think they can take out. But if you're mentally free and think like there are no borders, there are no barriers, I think management is not the ideal solution. I think leadership is the solution. So when you go for jobs, when you go for business opportunities, it is important that you know this is a way to leadership. Also, these organizations and opportunities and businesses have to provide a perfect leadership. You won't flourish with someone who is sitting back and watching the figures. You will only grow with someone who is continuously having an input, who is continuously mentoring. It doesn't matter the top ones, it doesn't mean you have 500 people in your organization and you have to mentor 500. The 500 are mentoring. That's the one thing, that you allocate the tasks, that you consistently and written down make sure that everybody is active and is doing what you do. So you reproduce, so you replicate. This is the growth, that everything gets replicated. It's not one manager, the others are working, and you never do what the manager does. In a leadership, everybody's replicating everything and is doing everything. This is how they grow. This is how you grow up and move up. Because you will have new tasks coming. When 500, thousands of people replicate and grow, you will have new tasks. You will have to manage the growth as well. So this is possible even in today's world. It has become, network marketing has become very quiet, almost distinct. And actually, it was the solution to freedom. It was the solution to indefinite incomes. It was the only one which was available. And I still believe that there is a future. I think a lot of people might be redundant over the next years. And I think the solution for them is to step out and start themselves. There are many ways. There's hobbycraft. There's things you can do where you can be self-employed. There's really now many things coming in arts and music, which is probably the surviving industry out of everything. Never can AI produce 100% sales rate. Never. People believe in voices. People believe in attending venues. It will not go like some shops survive. They will survive. They don't struggle with online. Many do, but some shops survive. And there are people who believe in it, to go in the shop, especially shoes and things which they want to try on. They survive. There are people who survive, and so is network marketing. Many have gone, but there are some who survive. And they do things differently. They adapt. So, leadership can involve every one of you. Everyone will eventually grow to leadership. Everyone will sponsor, will recruit someone, and has to take on the task of leadership. It is very important for the general growth that every member is working actively and is producing results in every way. So if you have a business, you will be working on many things. Many say that's wrong, you can't do everything, you have to get someone. But actually building the business is yours. We strongly believe that building the business is yours and not 50 agencies, 50 entrepreneurs who are saying this and that to you. Because you will have, in the end, you will have to think about your business. Your business consists of maybe 20, 50 different contractors, different people. But that's not your business. That is half their business. You are carrying their business in your business. So it's very important that you take that leadership and build your business. And you make sure that your business contains you. Rather than these many of us which make money, which say this you have to do, that you have to do. So you're starting to change your beliefs. You're starting to change your own leadership. You start to adapt to their leadership. But if you're in an organization, be aware that you perform with your organization, that you're building for your organization, that you're not ending up working with a lot of industries. You're working, then you have to do all those things, and your organization is dropping. It's very important that you stay with your organization, that you continuously believe that you can do it, and that you can solve it. Yes, sometimes you need someone for certain things because it's a conflict with this, or it's an improvement in software or something. You do need these people. But leadership, careful. When you approach leadership, don't become someone else's leadership. Make sure it is your business and you lead. You lead from your business. You don't lead from outside. You lead from your business. You will solve problems in your business and you will always have an answer. There's not like management going to this one for an answer, that you will have to have an answer for every person. Because you're the leader. You know. A lot of others replicate and will also know. So anyone who comes in is never left alone. It's one important thing that you never leave people working on something alone. This is a real trap. What many people have, they're sitting there and working hours and hours alone. They can't speak what they do, so they can't actually reaffirm their task mentally. They have to go from one to the other, to the other, to the other, to this and that, and back and forwards. There's no one to talk to, there's no one to say. Very often, many things don't get reaffirmed in the brain. Because you don't talk about it, you don't do it. What we do naturally is we discuss things. We don't say things what we're not doing and should doing. We are saying things what we're doing. We don't hope, we do. We take the action, we discuss that we do right now the action. And that reaffirms everything. So that's really important for a leader, that they discuss that with everyone. So you need to have a stream to everyone, not to 5 who are the top ones, the top sellers. You need to build a stream for everyone in the organization to address them and discuss this, so that it reaffirms in the brain, so they can take action. You know, it's actually there with them. You don't just approach them, you make sure it's in. Things have to be in, so that people can go out and practice it and act on it. So leadership, as you might look into it, there's now many books, empathy, emotional intelligence coming back again from many years ago. Many things, social science is working on it. So there's quite a lot to look at it, and actually it will help you to take action. And the action could be in your job, the action could be actually with you. I think this is a very important step between management and leadership. That you will go forward and you take action rather than the 9 to 5, the time. Because we so time related with the job. We want to stay in a job we like. So we have to be there on time. We have to be back. And this is like imprinted in the brain every day. That's why you wake up at the same time. But actually, there are other things which are important. There are many other things which are important, which aren't there, or which you can't replicate at home from your job. It's just gone. You go home and you can't replicate it at home. You can't improve anything at home. But leaders will do that. Leaders will make sure that when you leave, when you do something else, you are still growing. You're still on the right path. How many people of us are not on the right path? And they can't change because they're on the wrong path. It's like an old carriage is running on a train track, you know, it just can't move. So it's very important that the leader gets you on the right path, on a path where you develop, on a path where you grow, on a path where you find appreciation, on a path where everybody is happy, something where you belong. But you can see that a lot of people are on the wrong path. That doesn't mean they have mental instability or they haven't got much money. It's actually that whatever they do is really not quite ticking. They have to work harder. They have to do things again and again because the path isn't right. And, well, the growth, their development is much slower. If they even get there ever to what they could be. Because the question is the question is what can you actually be? And that's not what anyone knows what you can be. And it's not your dad and your mum. This is going to something which could be infinite what you could be. People, in marathon, people go up the times. I mean, how faster do they run than 20, 30 years ago? That's because they're on a different path. How do people go faster and faster than ever? That's because they're on a different path than then. So there isn't actually limits. The importance is you're on the right one. That's the importance. And that's something leaders will really have to address. That everybody is on the right path. So that things roll, so that things come to you rather than you have to work hard, you know. Well, they say, don't work hard, work smart. But if you're not on the right path, you can never work smart. It is impossible because you don't have the tools for it. You simply don't come across those tools. You come across other things, you know. You will have a hammer instead of anything else, you know. So it's something to look at for leaders. It's not always the personnel, it's not always the staff who can do that. Because they don't always see so far, you know. So it's really leadership is addressing that. I think it's one of the most important things leaders have to do to everyone and for everyone is to make sure that when you come into the business, you're on the right path. And there is not a question of being redundancy, there's a question of someone isn't happy anymore. I think that's out. I think that will in future be out. That someone is going because someone isn't happy or something or this or that. I think this will really over time disappear. I think there will be organizations who work differently. People will go for organizations who work differently. Yes, many people want to follow something, do certain things, go home. That's just enough for them, but actually it's not the future. The future looks different. So today I just wanted to address the difference, really. about leaders and managers. I hope that's something new, something interesting for you. And thank you very much for joining. I haven't had the time to look at everybody, but I just want to say, great that you came. And hopefully you can take some advice home, which makes you think, maybe different reading, maybe you want to read certain things up about careers and things. It's very important for those who go studying, because it is now not like 20 years ago where you could study this and do something else. It's becoming very specialized now. So you most likely end up with what you study. If you study the wrong thing, you might have a job which is not totally fulfilling you. So for those who are younger, I think it's very important to look into it, what you study. Do you want something with freedom, with space, where you can create? Do you want something methodical, which suits you? So also very important when you go studying, these things, management and leadership, does affect studying, because you want to maybe go in a management role. A lot of do. But there are some actually who are suited to leadership. They're not suited to management, they're suited to leadership. So really have a look at it, what you're going to study. That's very important. For the family, for someone who is here, who's going to study this year. So quite important. Well, it's great to see you, and have a wonderful evening. Just so there are sound problems. I will have a look, because it was 27. Let's have a look. Oh, there's sound here. There's definitely sound here. So I will have a look at... I will be back. If you can't see me, I will be back, definitely. So I have a look at that, because there's very good sound here on my side. There's plenty of sound here, so I will have a look at that. It's really fantastic to see you all here. I shall be back.